Hey, I'm Bobi Andonov and I'm here chatting with Milky. Yeah, so I started music when I was 9 years old, and yeah, it wasn't kind of an obvious pathway for me. I wanted to get into sport early on, when I was around 9 years old. Yeah, I ended up getting the role for young Simba in The Lion King when it was in Melbourne, and that was kind of the first kind of feeling, and I guess the first time I got hooked to performing, and pretty much just went on from there, and singing lessons, ballet, jazz, contemporary tap, and just went all out. In writing the EP, it was, I think for every artist it's different. Sometimes you write a song and you don't really know what it's about, and then subconsciously, a couple months later, you're like, oh fuck, this is actually what the song's about. But I think with Saint, it was an interesting moment in my life. I think, there are a couple of songs that are about self-reflection, kind of what I was going through at the time. And I just got out of a breakup as well. That was, kind of the contradictory feelings of pleasure and pain, and, the bad and the good. And so with Saint especially, we really wanted to explore that theme and go through kind of, all the motions that I was going through at the time. And with Anymore, it was a song that felt like almost like a letter that I would have loved to have written to my partner at the time, when it was over. And it was kind of the words that I could never say in person were penned in this song. So yeah. Anymore was one of the first songs we made on the project, but it was essentially after watching the Bee Gees documentary that came out, I think at least a year ago now, but I was just so obsessed with their stacked harmonies. They're just so powerful, and I wanted to do something like that. I've never done anything like that, but also mix it with a genuine, I guess, kind of heartbreak song, and keep it again very simple sonically and not let the production overpower it. And I think it's a really cool thing for fans to actually hear something really light and not intense and dark like my usual tracks. So yeah, we went full Bee Gees with it. Or at least try to. Yeah, it just feels like a different color to my music, and yeah, I'm super proud of it. Saint is kind of a little bit of a departure from what the previous EP was. I think it was the first time in my career where I got to actually, work alone for the first time in a large way, and usually you have songwriters and producers in the room, and it was actually nice to be in an area by myself. The making of Saint, is very different compared to the previous project, just because I guess it was a different time in my life as well. And with this one, I was just influenced by so many soulful artists like Prince and Terence Trent D'Arby and James Brown and all those kind of artists, whereas the previous one, it felt like a straight pop record with an alternative touch to it. But this feels like something a little more, I guess, soulful, which is something I've always wanted to have in my music. The whole project started off with me back in Melbourne in my childhood house. And yeah, it was really cool just to be alone in my room, actually exploring all these different sounds and really just going back to basics of not a lot of this overproduction, pop production. It was straight either bass, drums and vocals. And I realized that all the tracks that I actually listened to over the years, there weren't a lot of, sonic detail in the music. And that was really kind of important to me with this project. And it was great that it started off me working on it by myself and then actually bringing it to the team in LA, an amazing producer called Dylan Bald, who really kind of brought amplified the whole sonic world of the EP. In the process of writing, it's a little different depending on the song, but I think a lot of the time I've been inspired by film. That also reflects into the visuals of the EP and when it comes to the music videos as well. But I think I usually have a projector screen, visuals playing that I feel like reflect what the music is. That kind of gets you into the mood and gets you into the world of, yeah, kind of what the vibe is of the overall project. When it comes to visuals, Adam Saunders, who I recently just did a video with. It's a massive collaborative effort. I usually come forward with ideas, he'll come forward with ideas, and we kind of just both take stuff that we both like from each of our ideas. And yeah, I mean, I think it's super important. I think as well for fans, the fact that we get to release music and pour our heart out, but actually feeling the world and seeing the world of what our project is a whole different experience. I mean, I feel like it brings fans closer to the artist, and yeah, I mean, I think it's super important. And I think, as with each project, it definitely develops and more into into your own world. And I think it also applies into live stage setup as well. I think, super important. I think it would be Saint. I think Saint just really feels, every time I think about music, I think about it in like a movie sense where, you have either a hero or villain, and there's like a soundtrack to that specific scene when the hero or the villain gets introduced in the film. It just brings you into the world. And I feel like Saint is that for me, where, I guess, the artist, you're the character, and Saint feels like the theme song to your world. And I think also it was one of those songs that it kind of took the longest. It took about 4 months to finish. I think lyrically, it's very me. Yeah, I think it just shows a really raw, true sense of my voice and emotions when it comes to my music. And it just feels like that's a Bobi track. So yeah. Yeah, there's a lyric in Saint in the pre-chorus, I believe it is, and it's the line is, "I watch you lay the bodies down so you wouldn't have to walk on the ground." And I just love that line just because of the detail and the image of that, of just we tried to show that in the visuals as well, but just the person just kind of walking all over you, taking advantage of you, manipulating you, and not giving a fuck, essentially. And just that line, it just feels like such a cool visual. Prince, Terence Trent D'Arby, who in my eyes should have been as big as Michael Jackson at one point, In Excess, and Tina Turner. Childish Gambino, I think, would be a cool one. Dijon. I'd love to work with Jai Paul. I think he's just an enigma of a person and an artist. So yeah, that would be really cool. Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino. I think being such a Prince fan, I just heard so many references to that. Obviously it's its own thing, but I mean, yeah, Donald Glover is just, a triple threat, a quadruple threat, I don't even know what anymore, but that album just really, just the soul, the funk aspect, the George Clinton kind of influence there as well was fucking awesome. Drive with Ryan Gosling. I think the soundtrack, that's probably the worst answer because the soundtrack in that movie's amazing, but I'd love a crack at it because I watched that movie a lot while making the first EP, and why not? I'd love a shot. Not much. You're usually kind of on the edge of kind of breaking down, really. I think especially, yeah, kind of interacting with the audience and yeah, you're on edge the whole time. Your stomach turns into knots, and it's you kind of, yeah, obviously you lose yourself in the music, and you try to focus on a person in the audience that really are feeling your music, but it's like a roller coaster ride. So you're just trying to not tip over the edge. Same Miley Cyrus, especially the last album. I think she just developed so much as a woman and as an artist. I think that Flowers and Used to Be Young are just modern pop classics, and I mean that song was on repeat in the car. I'm not gonna lie. I do love Hannah Montana as well. Do you know what? It was a song that I wrote. It's probably not my favorite, but it's one of my favorites. It was a song I wrote when I was 15. And at that point in my life, I never experienced love. So I wanted to write a love song without actually having experienced it. But it was called Ready When You Get Here. And the chorus was, I'll be ready when you get here. And it was just kind of like a cute, kind of young teen, love song where, maybe I was ready to get my heart broken at that age. And yeah, it was just a really innocent line. So yeah, I think it's one of my favorites. The first song I love to sing, which is the most random thing ever, it was Anthony Calea, The Prayer. Well, Andre Bocelli, I guess, is the original artist, but yeah, I was a big, I loved my power ballads back in the day when I was a kid, so yeah. The Viva La Vida tour by Coldplay. That was, first show. Seeing that many people sing back your songs and the whole performance aspect and the spectacle of it all was amazing. Best concert was Prince. It was Rod Laver Arena. I think I was around 17. And being one of my favorite artists, I was pretty much glued to the chair. And especially being 55 years old and still moving like you're in your fucking 20s was, what a legend. Sabrina Claudio. I think I have a song in the EP called Less You Know. And I feel like she could do like a sensual kind of Sade vibe to it. Spice Girl all the way. Hangry Spice. Because I'm hangry all the time. Careless Whisperer, George Michael. I think I would love to... Berlin, I think, would be really cool. I've never been to Germany. But I think because of the vibe and the kind of warehouse parties of it all, I think it'd be really cool to do something at a derelict spot or something. I think more recently, Ray. I think she's, a lot of artists have known about her for a while, and even just on a songwriting level, she's incredible. And to see her kind of just absolutely smash it, coming out of this bad situation that she was in, to now being an independent artist, killing it. Escapism was such a theme song, I think, for a lot of people, and she's obviously such a motivated person and persevered to just keep fucking going, which is the hardest thing in our field. There's so many ups and downs and hopeful promises that don't come true. So the fact that she went for it and came out the other side in such a strong way is so admirable. Just slow down a little bit sometimes. I think it's already February, and sometimes with music you just want to keep, make things happen really quickly and rush and just take a breather. It's okay take your time on things and you know, not rush, but just breathe. I don't think I really have an existence without it. I think, you know, I took it serious at such a young age, and that was just the only path for me, and I think for my family as well, and it means a lot to them, it means a lot to me, and I kind of don't see a life without it, to be honest. Probably like Purple Rain, to be honest. Purple Rain by Prince. That's such a predictable answer, but yeah, it's a hard one. I think it was when I was on a family trip to Europe, and it was the first time my parents heard that I could sing. And we went to a restaurant that night and had dinner, and my dad gave the band €50 so I could go up and sing a song. And then after it, I just saw these like old couples and stuff just give me like 10s and 20s. I'm like, fuck yeah, I could actually make money off this shit. Actually takes a while to make money off it, but I was like, fuck, this is a pretty cool job. So yeah.